Hello, my fools and ghouls. Your jester, your foolish jester, is back. And today's what if is gonna be somewhat what's it called? Common what if, but I want to go for a different approach. This is gonna be on what if Midoriya wasn't quirkless. He had a quirk. Well, most channels that do this go for him having like pyrokinesis, that's what it's called, breathing fire, things like that. I'm gonna go for kind of a different approach. I'm gonna go for what if he had a quirk, but only his mom's quirk and a bit more powers with it. So this power would be the same thing. It can attract objects, and yeah, but like any quirk, we're just gonna say Midoriya can train it. So Bakugo still being praised and stuff for having such a cool quirk, and Midoriya having such a, well, weak quirk, he would still be bullied and teased. Not as much, of course, since, he has a quirk, but he wouldn't be treated as highly, because, again, it's not that good of it's a useful quirk if you're not a hero, but, like, they both want to be heroes, so you see the point. And, but Midoriya still trains himself. He trains harder and harder, and he starts to get able to lift bigger stuff, because, well, yeah, because that's how he is. And so, as time goes on, he gets more confident. At the same time as he doesn't, though, because Bakugo keeps humiliating him by throwing objects at him, and Midoriya's not able to react. Eventually, a day comes where Midoriya's book is his hero notes are exploded and thrown out the window by Bakugo, saying that people with weak quirks like him shouldn't be going to UA. And Midoriya starts to walk off, sad, and he runs into he goes through a cave and stuff when a slime monster attacks him. He starts to freak out, and well, out of nowhere he gets pulled out and goes flying towards a fire hydrant. He doesn't think what just happened until All Might pops out of the sewers and, well, beats up the monster. He, of course, signs Midoriya's autograph and says sorry for almost being late there. But before hopping off, Midoriya jumps on his back, and, of course, the same stuff happens of him crashing down and revealing his stuff. Midoriya then asks him, though, before he goes, that is it possible for someone with a weak quirk to become a hero? All Might says that it can be very dangerous, but well, you'll have to train yourself and be ready. You have to be ready. If you have a weak quirk, you have to train it. And still scolds him, of course, for jumping on him and how dangerous that could be. Midoriya gets sad and walks off, thinking about that it might not be good for him to get in, because he can't even lift that much of objects. And so, he keeps going on and on. But and eventually, though, he hears an explosion in the distance. The slime monster that All Might captured escaped, and it's got Bakugo. And Midoriya starts saying it's all his fault. All Might can't save Bakugo now because he had his 3-hour limit. No other heroes can save him because of all the fires. And Midoriya just feels like it's all his fault. But then Midoriya starts running and running and running. And all of a sudden he sees himself pulling himself towards the slime monster instead of him pulling something towards him. And starts trying to claw away at it. Of course, All Might sees the courage in Midoriya and runs in to help and saves them. Midoriya gets a scolding and starts to walk off. Bakugo tells him that his quirk is still weak and didn't help, but then All Might shows up, saying what he did was really brave and it was because of him he was able to stand up and help save Bakugo. And All Might says that he can be a hero with that power and offers him his power. Midoriya smiles, thinking of having the #1 hero's power, but thinking about how from that experience he realized that he already somehow skilled himself from just that experience to be able to also pull himself towards things instead of pulling things towards himself. He declines, saying that there's someone out there that will need the power more than me. I don't need it. I don't need the power to be a hero. Like you said, As long as I train myself, I can be a great hero. All Might says that's a very noble thing to say, and still offers him training, which Midoriya happily accepts because, like, I'm sure he didn't accept the power, but he would be glad to train with them. And so later that day, All Might meets Mirio Togata. I don't remember how to say his name. Mirio, Night Eye's suggestion, and sees that he'd also be a perfect candidate. Okay, well, I don't completely agree with it, but a perfect candidate for well, actually, he kind of is. They both have different aspects that make him perfect for it, but yeah, I'll just keep going. And gives him the power. He starts to train Midoriya, and I guess I'll also say I'll train Togata, Mirio, to, like, you know, both at the same time, and eventually it's the day of the entrance exam. Mirio wishes Midoriya luck, and both of them are trained the whole summer. Midoriya now is able to lift incredibly heavy objects, and is able to pull himself towards heavier objects if they'll stay in place. So, like, if he tried to pull himself towards a fire hydrant, the fire hydrant is, of course, not going to go flying out of the ground unless you have the strongest telekinesis. And the other thing is, he, like, if it's a heavy person, can pull himself towards it. Also, another thing I want to mention, the reason I don't also make Midoriya decline getting the power is more of also plot reasons, because, like, in the story, One for All magnifies a quirk if you already have it. So there'd be a lot of things that would just mess up the story if, like, you know, Midoriya can just pull, like, I assume this is a quick note thing. Bakugo is right about to be pulled through a portal. Oh, well, I'm just gonna pull him towards me. Boom, story's over. But yeah, so Midoriya goes to the entrance exam, almost falls and apparently almost dies, but he's just being dramatic. A girl saves him, says it would be rude to let him fall. They go through the written exam and learn about the physical exam, and they enter it. When Midoriya is there, he sees that, he's the girl from before and wants to apologize, but someone says, "Oh no, you're just gonna distract her." Blah 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 blah. Ida, stop being annoying. I don't know why some people like him. He's an interesting character. I'll shut up about that. Okay. Sorry, also, I'm doing this without a script because I really want to get these out before I never do them again. And also, I want to do videos for quarantine. And yeah, he goes on, and the game starts. He runs in, and there's robots everywhere. They're getting destroyed by so many people. And so, he starts to get the handle of taking care of them, though. So one robot would be charging towards him, but he'd then take a robot from around the corner and, like, pull that towards him, so the two would run into each other. He would pull himself towards other robots and then flip the switches on them, which I'm 99% sure has been said that there were switches on the robots that people could press instead of destroying them if you don't have a destructive quirk, which explains how so many people got in, like, what's her name, Invisible Girl. So yeah, the more you know. And so Midoriya does all of that, and he thinks he's doing really good, but then the Zero Pointer shows up, and he sees in the distance that, from a scream, that, well, Ochaku Uraraka, or the girl from before, is trapped under the rubble. He starts running and running, but he isn't able to do anything. But all of a sudden, again, his body's moving on its own, but he immediately uses his stuff to rip off the rebel. I'm just gonna say telekinesis, because that's easier. Telekinesis to pull off the rebel and pull her away from the damage, and then immediately pulls himself in the air towards the robot's head, and with the rebel he ripped off before, pulls it towards himself to throw at the robot, and destroys its head. He almost falls, and of course he dies because he doesn't know how to land in that time, because everything's just coming back to him there. But Ochaku saves him, and the days or the test is over. He goes home, confident that he did well, and just still a bit worried that he messed up in the end, where he needs someone else to save him. But turns out they're both going to UA. Well, as he finds out months later, because both of them got a lot of points and rescue points. So Midoriya with his somewhat weak quirk from before, now trying to be really good, is going to UA, the Academy of Heroes. Anyway, that's all my ghouls and fools. So yeah, if you guys like this new what if, let me know. There's another what if I'm coming up with now, and anyways, that's all my fools and ghouls. Your foolish jester is out. Also, wash your hands.